Coming up, witness Disney Cruise Line like you've never seen it before, as their flagship vessel, the Disney Magic, gets a major bow-to-stern upgrade. In just a matter of weeks, this 83,000-ton ship will be creatively updated and changed in Disney Cruise Line's most extensive renovation ever. And we have a backstage pass to all the action.
From the big picture to the small, every detail is important to us.
And when it's done, discover how all the new designs and construction have come to life as the reimagined Disney Magic sails on her first voyage.
You feel like you're kind of walking into a palace.
From transformed kid spaces that can only be found on this ship to a new exclusive area for adults. And witness the creation of a whole new water zone with a plunging slide that even sails out over the open sea.
The reason we do it is because it's fun.
Plus, visit Disney's very own private island. Get ready to see everything deconstructed and built back up again.
We love this notion of it's kind of fun to do the impossible.
As Disney Cruise Line reimagines the magic. Ship, the Disney Magic, underwent a major redesign that incorporated ideas from the newer ships alongside other fresh elements.
Now it comes time to reimagine the Magic, and we've got more new learnings here which we can bring back to it. So there's been kind of this full circle of learning and innovation that has helped us with the reimagining of the Magic.
Being able to observe guests on the fantasy and the Disney dream, we're able to see how guests used spaces, and we go, okay, how can we make this better?
In order to make any of those improvements, the ship needed to be taken out of service and into construction. So, the Disney Magic traveled from Barcelona, where it's been sailing a Mediterranean itinerary, to Cadiz, Spain. Here, the ship entered dry dock, which is a regulated time for maintenance.
A normal dry dock is about a week, 10 days, sometimes 14 days. You do a lot of work underwater, in the engine room, in the public areas. This dry dock is completely different.
That's because this time, besides all the regular maintenance, the punch list included overhauling spaces from the main atrium to the upper decks, and most everything in between.
We took a hard look at all the various venues and looked at those things that we felt were working and those things that maybe could work better, where maybe things had evolved from a technology standpoint, or where we've acquired a lot of new Disney family members over the years with the acquisitions of Pixar and Marvel. And so these gave us lots of opportunities to tell more stories.
Oh, and here's the catch. There was only a little less than 2 months to get the job done. A job that entailed taking apart 80% of the ship's interior and putting it back together, plus refreshing the entire exterior as well.
We completely blasted the ship's hull, so there was not a piece of paint left on the side of the ship. And we started all over with a clean hull. We took off about 80, 90 tons of paint. So that's about 220,000 pounds of paint.
The task of generating the new ideas and designs was given to Disney's team of Imagineers.
Walt Disney Imagineering was Walt's own company that he created to create a new kind of entertainment called theme parks.
This is what we call our Imagineering department. It's where we dream up our new projects.
Out of that grew resorts and cruise ships, and it's all about immersing guests in stories. Walt was a storyteller first and foremost, and wanted to create stories that touch people's emotions. So now we have to take all those learnings from the motion pictures that Walt established and use those to create these wonderful experiences for our guests.
Storytelling is only part of the process. Disney also had to make sure their creative ideas didn't interfere with day-to-day ship operations.
We led a creative process and also a functional process, and then we married the two together. It's almost like the creative process, we want to let it go loose in the beginning and find the right concept and the design for each space. And in the back of our minds, we know how the functionality, how it needs to operate, what all the details are.
Every person involved has to be working together. So everything from the Imagineers, who are thinking about the overall design of a ship, to our folks in food and beverage, to our entertainment folks, to the people who are running the engine room. The coordination has to be pretty much perfect, and that's part of the fun.
Joining form and function into a perfect union is an intricate process. So all the prep work had to be extensive and calculated in order to meet the tight construction schedule.
We've been working on this project for almost 2 years. Countless drawings, mock-ups, renderings in 3D, you name it, structural calculations, making sure everything was perfect. And most of the materials were prefabricated because we do have a short amount of time to implement everything on the ship. So hundreds and hundreds of containers of all the materials and all the parts and pieces already pre-assembled, ready to just be installed onto the ship during the dry dock.
Coming up, while construction is in full swing, go inside the ship for an exclusive look at what's going into the redesign.
We had cranes availability and logistics support around the clock. We had supplies coming around the clock.
And see what new innovations are coming on board, including spills and thrills that take you where no guest has gone before. With a rich seafaring history, the city of Cádiz on Spain's southern coast is one of the oldest cities in Western Europe. And its maritime heritage lives on today at the Navantia shipyard, where the Disney Magic was docked for 5 weeks undergoing its full-scale renovation.
There are several reasons why we chose the Navantia shipyard in Cádiz, Spain. One, they have an extensive history of these large dry dockings, so they have a good experience.
Also, the shipyard is close to the special teams of outfitters brought in to work on their specialty trades.
Most of the cruise ships are built in Europe, so there's a lot of expertise that resides in the European community. So we have pulled a lot of the vendors on board the ship that we know that are used to doing big jobs. So you want companies to come on board the ship that have done dry docks before.
We ended up with about a list of 2,300 outfitters that came from most of Europe and some from the United States and some from other areas. We believe, and we made a quick calculation one time, that we had over 50 nationalities on the cruise ship. And that's not even our crew, which by itself is over 50, 60 nationalities. So that was actually quite nice. It was like a small United Nations.
With so many people traveling to Spain for the job, housing became part of the puzzle.
Early in the process, we decided to have a ferry, and we housed about 1,400 people of the outfitters on the ferry. I like to say it was a logistical masterpiece.
The ship is 984 feet long with 11 decks. A lot to cover in the tight construction schedule, so the shipyard boomed with activity 24/7.
We had cranes availability and logistics support around the clock. We had supplies coming around the clock. And we pretty much had the kitchens open 24 hours per day, so we can feed and take care of the people that were working.
And the supplies that were handled added up to a staggering amount.
Just to put it in perspective, we loaded roughly about 850 20-foot containers worth of material on board the ship. That includes building materials, that includes new mattresses, that includes new china, that includes new equipment for whatever project was going on, so that's everything included.
The first thing the guests will see when coming on board is the Grand Atrium, an important initial centerpiece on all the Disney ships.
getting back to our roots as a motion picture company, telling people how they're supposed to feel or how they're supposed to think about an experience is usually that first moment. And for us, we're telling this story about taking this grand sailing adventure, going on this classic sailing ship that has its roots in the romantic era of cruise ships. So our plan for the atrium is to open it up, to keep some of the elements that the guests came to love and expect, but then to add a new palette of colors, brighter, fresher, more contemporary feeling, maybe, and timeless too. We always think about creating a timeless feel for what we do.
While the atrium was covered in scaffolding, another project in full swing was the staterooms.
There's 870 plus cabins that we took apart, and we put new furniture in, new bedding, new carpet, new draperies. Although we kept the classic look because our guests told us we really like the look, so don't play with that. So we did a variation on the theme.
And then said, well, if we do the cabins, what about the corridors? So we laminated all the walls, and then we looked at the ceilings.
Dining areas also went under the knife while in dry dock. Most significantly by adding a new restaurant to their lineup called Carioca's.
Carioca's used to be called Parrot Key. It was a Caribbean-themed restaurant, a little bit on the casual side, and we wanted to have a restaurant that was fun by day and elegant by night. And we decided to go with a Brazilian theme, and it's very warm, edogenic, vibrant colors. It's a lot of fun.
From dining to entertainment, big ideas went from concept to reality all over the ship. Coming up, see what's coming to life in special new places for kids and adults. And check out the plan for a thrilling new water feature, built to drop from the highest point of the ship and out over the ocean. Early each morning at the Navantia shipyard, the day shift relieved the overnight crew for another full day of work on the Disney Magic. And hardly any square inch of the ship went untouched.
We changed every piece of carpet. We changed over 50,000 square yards of carpet. So that's almost 500,000 square feet of carpet. That's a lot of carpet. You put about 3 layers of paint on, so a base coat and then 2 coats.
Plus, literally hundreds of other projects were simultaneously coming together.
They're working on the propellers, they're working on the stabilizers. You see people work on every balcony, and you continue looking aft, and there is all new deck houses being put on. You have to put new teak on board of the ship.
Motivating the construction were all the new ideas from Disney's Imagineers.
We love this notion of it's kind of fun to do the impossible, and if you can dream it, you can do it, and that is truly ingrained into every Imagineer. There is nothing more fun than creating new experiences for our guests, and nothing more rewarding than seeing the guests actually, live those experiences once we're done dreaming and then doing them.
Many new experiences were built into the redesign of the Oceaneer Club, a place for kids ages 3 to 11.
Here, we wanted to really create a really unique story. So you walk into the library. It's this magical place where we have these large, oversized books representing all of our different Disney and Pixar characters, because the idea is that any character can come and visit the library, but then you can also step into the storybook worlds of the different Disney characters.
All those new ideas needed to fit within the existing Kids Club space. So they had to tear everything out and start fresh with the revamped layout.
You can look at plans, you can look at drawings, and you can come up with all sorts of different ideas. But once you're physically in the space, that's where you really get to see how it will all come together. And once we took down all the walls in the existing Oceaneer Club, we just couldn't believe how much room was in here and how much opportunity we had to work with. By removing some columns and just kind of repositioning where everything goes, you just have a completely different space. And it's quite amazing to see it all come together.
Another big part of the Disney Cruise Line experience is having spots strictly for adults. So grown-up entertainment was constructed as well. And each club and lounge has a distinct design.
With the adult zone, we wanted to create a variety of experiences. What we set out to do was allow our guests in one night to go out and experience like a night out in the town, going to a variety of different clubs. And sometimes you go to an intimate kind of piano bar where it's quiet, to a nightclub where you may have disco music playing and have a, you know, a more energetic experience. So again, we thought about those energy levels and then started thinking about the stories that would support each of those.
The most ambitious part of the ship's new design involves an area for kids and adults alike. All new upper deck water features.
Our Aqualab design comes really from the Disney Fantasy. That's where we have our Aqualab franchise starting. Now, Aqualab is our theme. It's centralized around Donald Duck and how his nephews, and they're very mischievous, have created things that leak everywhere. I mean, everything they could do to frustrate their Uncle Donald to get him wet. So the water is going to spray everywhere, and the kids get some buttons on the side that they can push and make things spray. I think once we're done with it, it's going to be awesome.
In the same area, Disney worked a little twist into the mix.
The Twist and Spout water slide is really a replacement for what we have now is the Mickey hand slide. But we were challenged by our directors and our executives, make it thrilling, make it longer, make it funner. Our guests really love what we have, but we got to plus it up. So we looked at the ship and the footprint, and we said, we can make this taller, and we can make it longer by spinning you around more.
To top it all off was the construction of the new gem of the top deck, the Aquadunk. This plunging slide is designed to drop 40 feet from the top of the ship's funnel and extend 20 feet over the edge during the descent. And it all needed to fit on the ship's existing footprint.
And we've gone through a variety of processes in order to make that happen. Everything from space planning to get our guests to the top of the ship's funnel to how the slide looks when you're looking at the ship from afar. So we bring in our creative designers, our engineers, and say, I want this here in this small space. Can you do it? And first they say, no, you can't. But we say, oh, yes, you can. And we go into a phase where we build 3D models of our ship. But we do the fly-through of the slide, we look at it from every angle, and then we fit it to our ship.
Adding all kinds of new features adds weight, which needs to be counterbalanced on the ship. And the solution is a not-so-little thing called the ducktail.
The ducktail name is a real maritime name. It is not because of Donald Duck. The ducktail is you add a large tank at the back end of the ship. It creates additional buoyancy, and it's welded onto the existing structure of the ship. So inside the ducktail, there's nothing but just a void space, and of course a steel structure. But of course you need to make sure it looks good, and then of course you include it into the structure of the hull.
Coming up, the final throes of construction. Then the updated Disney Magic sails once again.
Please welcome aboard the Robinson family.
See the unveiling of the new spaces that have gone from innovative ideas to finished reality. For several weeks, the Disney Magic was stationed in dry dock on the Spanish coast, undergoing a groundbreaking renovation.
Now, this renovation was the biggest I've ever been involved in. I think in all reality, it was one of the biggest I've seen in the industry.
And after nearly 2 years of planning and preparation, and more than 500 projects completed, the Disney Magic can come out of dry dock and set sail back to the States for its official relaunch.
When you think about what happened in a dry dock of this massive a scale, 3,000 individuals on board the ship, well over 500 contractors, incredible logistics, all of that coming together is just absolutely amazing.
And as the ship travels across the Atlantic, all the new materials, revamped layouts, updated technology, and fresh designs are getting their finishing touches.
From the big picture to the small, every detail is important to us. From the artwork piece that goes onto the wall, it has to have a story, it has to belong there, it has to be related to the space. And everything we do is custom. From the furniture to the carpet designs to even the patterns on the fabrics, it's really things that were designed specifically for us for this ship and that you can't find anywhere else. So really that is something that we take a lot of pride in, the level of detail and the quality of the design that we produce.
Disney Magic, please welcome aboard the Maya family.
As the first guests come aboard, they enter directly into the grand atrium.
Disney Magic, please welcome aboard the Oakstone family.
Disney Magic, please welcome aboard the Robinson family.
You're announced onto the ship like you're somebody special, and I think it makes everybody sort of feel like a celebrity. It's just grand in there, and it's exciting. Yeah, you feel like you're kind of walking into a palace.
Disney Magic, please welcome aboard the Darrow family.
And that grand space is now unveiled with its whole new look.
We wanted to celebrate the fact that it's a cruise ship, and you're going on an adventure on the sea. So we use a lot of ocean motifs, colors of the ocean, seashells, underwater plants as design elements that are woven into the carpet. And then the next level is to make sure everyone knows that you're on a Disney cruise. So of course we've integrated the Disney characters into some of the architectural elements.
We really thought the gold was really pretty with the characters all etched in it, and all the details on the elevators and the glass elevators. It's really pretty.
In the original atrium, we had 2 stairwells when you came in, and we removed one of the stairwells. And that immediately opened it up, but gave us a grander sweep and allowed us to change basically the whole feel of that space by that simple removal of a stairwell.
It's really great here, and it's fancy and fun.
Although plenty on board is refurbished, it's important that new doesn't mean entirely unfamiliar.
You know, we looked at each of the spaces and said, what are those precious elements, those things that we would never want to get rid of? And of course, in each of the ships, we have our icon statue in the atrium. Mickey was the first, Helmsman Mickey. And Helmsman Mickey is now actually more prominent. He's moved to an area when you come in, he becomes the central focal point in the space.
The staterooms also have their new look, but retain the features Disney introduced to the cruise industry when the Magic was first built.
When Disney Magic was launched, one of the most innovative features that we added to the staterooms was the split bathrooms. You know, being able to get ready and have one person in one room, one person in the other bathroom, get ready all at the same time, it really makes a difference to be up and out as quickly as possible. It's really important that our families feel comfortable in the room. That's why we have a main bed, and then we have a sofa bed, and also a Pullman, which is a bunk bed that is actually recessed into the ceiling. So that is pulled down at night, and then we have a drapery that's like a privacy curtain that is able to separate the parents with the children at night.
And one more family-friendly idea made its way on board, thanks to its success on the other Disney ships.
The raised beds are approximately 12 inches high, which incorporates different sizes of suitcases that you can put actually underneath the bed.
The reimagined kid spaces are also complete and ready to go in the redesigned Oceaneer Club. Kids can hang out with familiar faces, starting with characters from Disney Pixar's film Toy Story.
Here we are in Andy's room. The story here is that you're the size of a toy. And when you walk in here, you're welcomed by all of Andy's toys to be part of the family. So we really wanted to utilize this 2-story volume from the original Disney's Oceaneer Club. And the very first thing that we designed is this slide, which we're calling the Slinky Dog slide. So Slinky's tail is all the way on top of the bed, and then his head's on the bottom. So you have to climb this block staircase right here. So you climb it all the way up to the top of Andy's bed, and on top we have this great bedspread of Buzz Lightyear. This is Mickey Mouse Club. It celebrates everything Mickey Mouse, from the reds, the blacks, the whites, the yellows. It's Mickey Mouse 24/7.
There's also Pixie Hollow, featuring Tinkerbell's overturned teapot and a low ceiling to make kids feel more cozy and comfortable. And for the first time ever, Marvel comes on board Disney Cruise Line in this new space all about superheroes.
Immersive storytelling is what we do at Walt Disney Imagineering, and Marvel's Avengers Academy is a great example of it. In Marvel's Avengers Academy, you are S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. You are part of the S.H.I.E.L.D. story. You are going to become superheroes. And to help you, we have our heroes training equipment. This is Thor's hammer Mjolnir. We have Iron Man's suit of armor, and we also have Captain America's shield.
Captain America now also appears live for the first time at sea. And kids can virtually suit up just like Iron Man in this brand new experience.
It's pretty cool. I mean, you get all in the armor and you actually feel like you're Iron Man. And you dance and you go like, and stuff. And then you have missile practice and you put your hand out. It's pretty cool though.
Another space for kids is the more science-based Oceaneer Lab, where kids can do everything from making their own flubber to steering their own ship.
We lifted the design from the dream and fantasy. It has this kind of pirate feel to it. It's really unique, and it's this fusion of old world charm and new technology.
My kids know exactly what they want to do for the whole entire day, and we're like, don't you want to hang out with us, Mom and Dad? But we get to have a lot of family time together, and then they get to have time alone and make friends, and we just enjoy it so much.
And for the older kids, there's special places designed for them, too. Edge is a club designed just for tweens. And nestled up in one of the funnels is a teen hangout called Vibe.
It's just like a break from the younger kids, and we get to relax, and there's so many fun activities. I love it. It's so much fun.
Coming up, an entire deck of water adventure for the whole family. Take a turn on the new Twist and Spout. And witness the Aqua Dunk in action.
Feels like you're floating.
Watch as daring riders take that 40-foot plunge. Plus, get a taste of rotational dining. And check out what's new in the restaurant lineup. This is a big moment for Disney Cruise Line. Their first ship, the Disney Magic, underwent the most extensive renovation in their history. And now the enhanced ship is sailing on its first voyage since its redesign, with all new features stretching across nearly every part of the ship.
It's our 26th time on Disney cruising and 22nd time on the Disney Magic. For me, everywhere you go, you notice the changes, whether it's from the carpeting, the lighting, the animation, and you see it everywhere.
One area with big changes is the top deck, with all new water features now open for business. There's a duckling-sized space for toddlers, plus a bigger splash-filled area for kids.
So behind me is the Aqua Lab, the Twist and Spout, and the Nephew Splash Zone. It's a lot of fun. It's active play. And every time you activate the Donald boiler, Donald gets mad and blows his top full of water, and then you get soaked. There's also the fill and spills. There are these little contraptions that have paint buckets on it that are catching all the leaking water. And when you spin it around, they get drenched water everywhere. We also have boilers that are leaking water, and you have to plug all the leaking pipes, because as long as you can get all the leaks plugged, that's what runs the Twist and Spout. The whole idea is that the nephews are trying to get water from the Aqua Lab to the Twist and Spout to run the slide.
It's definitely a nice addition to the ship. It's interactive and fun for all the ages.
It's a good size, and the height is perfect for them. The fountains are great.
Another slide is the thrilling Aqueduct, which begins at the highest point of the ship.
What you see behind me is 200 feet of water slide that starts 45 feet above deck 9 of the ship. So we've actually had to carve out space within the ship's funnel to get you there. We've made some stairs in places that nobody's ever gone before. And at the very top of that, you're going to get into a capsule, and we're going to close that door. And you're going to hear 3, 2, 1, and the floor falls out. And you plummet down and go out over the side of the ship, and we're extended 20 feet over the side of the ship. It's almost 110 feet right down to the sea level. And it's a great experience. And one of the things you see is we have some of it being translucent fiberglass. So not only do you get the sunlight coming in, but your family and friends can enjoy that experience as you swoosh out over the side of the ship before you go into the splashdown.
3, 2, 1, anchors away. It just drops you. It just, the floor drops on you. You go straight down and then you do a loop around. It was fun. Feels like you're floating.
I get asked all the time, why do we do what we do? Why do we have things like this water slide that extends out over the side of the ship when you could have easily just made it standing over the deck? The reason we do it is because it's fun.
Adding all this to the existing ship involves some serious engineering.
There's loads here that we have to carry for the weight of the water slide, and you can't just put it anywhere. So on land, we would have poured big concrete foundations anywhere we wanted and done it that way. But here, we have to design it, especially for what we're going to do, to match the lines of the ship, to match the foundations of the ship.
Plus, they had to figure out a way to route all this additional water through the ship's already established infrastructure.
We have a lot of piping for this water slide. We have pipes that are this big, all the way down to this big, whether they run up to the top of the funnel or they're draining the water out at the end.
Besides being in the water, the pool area is also the place to walk up and grab something to eat, with all sorts of quick service fare to choose from. Plus, the complimentary ice cream station is a refreshing way to cool off. And for another casual option, there's the most utilized restaurant on board.
Cabanas is the main restaurant where we serve breakfast and lunch. We pretty much serve 2,000 people for breakfast and another 2,000 for lunch. Cabanas is a free-flowing dining area where guests can start wherever they want, and it's very colorful, and it's actually inspired by the Disney Pixar movie Finding Nemo.
One unique dining idea has been on board since the beginning, when Disney Cruise Line created their own system for seating guests at dinner.
Rotational dining was introduced already on the Disney Magic back in 1998 as a industry first, actually. And it remains unique to Disney Cruise Line today. And what it is basically allows our guests to move from restaurant to restaurant each and every night, experience a new theme, a new decor, a new menu. The best part of it is really that their service team, they're rotating with them. So they get to experience that personalized service.
When you have the same server that's moving with you throughout a cruise, whether it's a 4-day, 5-day, 7-day, 14-day, they learn what you want and frankly, what your expectations are. And plus, you can have fun with them because you get to know them personally as friends, too.
On the Disney Magic, guests rotate through a royal-like atmosphere at Lumiere's. And there's the all-new restaurant first Imagineered aboard this ship, which is named for Donald Duck's parrot pal, Jose Carioca, in The Three Caballeros.
Carioca's is a Brazilian-inspired restaurant. I'm originally from Brazil, so this one was very special for me. And what we took is we researched a lot of architectural elements within different cities in Brazil. And we took the vibrancy of the architecture, the colors of the colored mullions, the black and white pattern of the Copacabana sidewalk, the festival balloons, and we created them into a fun atmosphere with a Disney element. So it's not literal to any specific location, but it's just a celebration of all these beautiful architectural elements.
And when it comes to the menus, the food is designed to match the different restaurant themes.
In every space that you walk into, there is a storyline. And of course, we want to pay attention to all the details. And that's where the connection between the interior design, the menu development, and also the service style, the costumes that our crew members are wearing. It's all very, very important to tell that story.
Coming up, there's one more restaurant on the dinner menu. Check out what makes animators' palates so popular.
It was really amazing. It was really amazing.
Plus, discover all the entertainment the Magic has to offer. From adult hotspots to live theater to a stop at Disney's exclusive island getaway. When Walt Disney first got into the entertainment venue business in 1955, he had a very specific mission in mind.
There should be something built, some kind of an amusement enterprise built where that the parents and the children could have fun together.
And the idea of serving families remains top priority on Disney Cruise Line.
Walt Disney had a wonderful vision in wanting to create places where people could share experiences and create memories that last a lifetime together. And that is what we've taken at Imagineering and obviously expanded beyond just the original vision of Disneyland, including the cruise ships.
And when it comes to entertaining everyone for their entire journey at sea, specific thought has to go into the designs.
They're living with us, and for us, we think that's great as designers because we have to tell deeper stories and we have to tell longer lasting stories and have broader experiences because we want people to enjoy themselves every day. It's not just this and move on.
One place that's all about storytelling is Animator's Palette, which has been in Disney's rotational dining lineup on all their ships since the beginning. And now, on the Disney Magic, it's ready to show off a huge technological upgrade.
Animator's Palette is our entertainment restaurant, and it's probably the most popular because it celebrates Disney animation. And everybody, all of us, we grew up with animated films, you know, no matter what generation we are. And the new show that we have here on the Disney Magic called Drawn to Magic. You walk in and it starts with a blank sheet of paper and a pencil, and you see, you know, line drawings start. And by the end of dessert, that process is developed to where now it's a fully animated, colored film that has emotion, it has character.
Seeing, of course, the screen come to life, the colors come onto the wall, it was really amazing. It was really amazing.
We had to design the show around dining service because it is a restaurant. So unlike making a film where everybody sits in a theater, they have to also eat. And so guests might never notice it, but the show is specifically timed so that when you get dessert, the finale is playing, or it's almost ready to play. And it's not by accident. We work a lot with the cruise staff, you know, the food and beverage staff here on the ship to make sure that it works almost in tandem.
Yeah, it really brought me down memory lane. I mean, the films that I was brought up with, some of the ones that I didn't know that my daughter has been brought up with, it just kind of, you know, showed you the full gamut of everything that Disney really is about.
My favorite movie. Mine too.
For adults looking for more upscale fare, there's a new look in Palo, Disney Magic's fine dining restaurant.
Palo is a very special experience on all of our ships. On Disney Magic, it's up on deck 10 with stunning views of the ocean. And also, it's reserved for guests 18 years or older. So it allows guests that little romantic getaway or almost like an escape.
We dined at the Palo the other night.
Very nice,
very
peaceful,
nice.
quiet meal.
Also for adults, a refreshed spa, and the clubs and lounges in after hours, where new design plans have come to fruition in many different styles during the renovation.
With the case of Fathoms, it's our main nightclub, and we were thinking, well, we want some place that will allow us to, earlier in the evening, do specialty acts, but ultimately it's going to end up being the disco at the end of the night. We came up with this idea of celebrating the ocean and using motifs from the ocean, the bubbles and waves and jellyfish, because the sea can be very calm and romantic, or sometimes it can be a little rocky with a lot of energy.
Lots of energy can be found at an Irish pub with plenty of screens to air live sports. O'Gill's is new to the Disney Magic because of its popularity on the Disney Fantasy. And for a more quiet option, there's the piano bar Keys. Even though it's an elegant adult setting, Disney still added a subtle touch of whimsy.
And if you look at the wallpaper, it just looks like this really interesting sort of black and white wallpaper, but if you look at it very closely, there's a lot of Mickey Mouse ears up there.
We're here with about 25 kids and 20 adults. Yeah, there's so much to do on this ship. We checked out yesterday the after hours adult district, which was totally revamped, and it was really nice. It was nice to be able to get away while we knew our kids.
Just in 2D, but 3D as well.
Plus, characters and stories found in Disney films have been incorporated into original stage shows. And the theatrical crew is able to put on a different production each night.
The Broadway-style shows that we do are absolutely fantastic. They're timed to be about a 45-minute experience so that they're good for the
finale.
The Pirate Party holds a special place in all of our hearts because we were the first cruise line in the world to have fireworks at sea, and we have it on all 4 of our ships.
Every year, Disney Cruise Line sails itineraries covering the world, like Alaska, Europe, and the Caribbean.
We've been fortunate enough to see a great deal of the world with Disney. That gives us a lot of confidence because we know what the Disney product is, we know where our meals are coming from, we know where we're going to be sleeping, but we still get to experience the world.
The most exclusive Disney destination is its own Castaway Cay, Imagineered to provide both relaxation and fun.
Castaway Cay is like a mini private island paradise just for the day. Only Disney Cruise Line guests can go there. It's just a very special island that receive for all ages, whether it's the child, whether it's the parent, or even the grandparent. And we have different locations on the island that accommodate all ages. And it's really an extension of the ship, but actually on the island.
This is our 3rd Disney cruise, and we enjoy them probably better than any other vacation.
It's just top-notch. The service, the cleanliness, the entertainment for the kids, the adults, for the families as a whole. We just have a blast.
There's something for everybody here.
And as the Disney Magic continues to head out to sea, the plan is to always keep it sailing forward, looking for the next new way to tell stories that never seem to go out of style.
The dreaming at Disney never stops. So we weren't even done with this dry dock, and we were already talking about what we're going to do next on the other ships.
So we'll continue to try to build upon what we've done to make sure we continue to raise the bar for ourselves.
Walt was a dreamer.